I spent a lot of my adult life in prison. Growing up in Charlestown, a lot of us that grew up during that time, things have changed now. With gentrification and all, it's definitely not the same. It's growing up in the '80s. Things were definitely different. That was during before the code of silence was broken. A lot of bank robbers and unsolved murders were a thing in Charlestown at the time, and violence was definitely a prevalent thing growing up. That's what I grew up around, and so that's how it was definitely easy to get into that lifestyle growing up.
Ain't got a moment when they see you down, there's no love and all.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Bounce Back Podcast. I'm your host, B. Luke. I got a special guest with me. You might recognize him. He's been here a couple times, but it's been a while. So for the people who may not know, or new subscribers, or people who might have just forgot, man, why don't you tell the people your name, where you're from, and just like a brief synopsis of your story, man, where you come from and where you're at now and what you're doing now, bro.
Okay, buddy. John Ahern. For those who don't know me, this is my third time on the Bounce Back. I think number one on the list of people who have been here. I'm from Charlestown, right across the bridge from Mr. Lucas. Yeah, I'm born and raised from Charlestown. I'm not just somebody who says I'm from there. There are people that do that. I don't know why. It always gets brought out in the wash. I'm 44 years old. Right now, I'm in the middle of trying to promote my podcast, which we're having trouble with the same studio, trying to find some time. I use the same studio as Bobby, but my podcast, the name of it's Hard Time, Real Talk. I'm somebody who struggled with addiction, incarceration, and being institutionalized, and the problems with being institutionalized and getting out. And I know a lot of people deal with the same problems I dealt with in struggling with reintegration. I spent a lot of my adult life in prison. Growing up in Charlestown, a lot of us that grew up during that time, things have changed now. With gentrification and all, it's definitely not the same. It's growing up in the '80s. Things were definitely different. That was during before the code of silence was broken. A lot of bank robbers and unsolved murders were a thing in Charlestown at the time, and violence was definitely a prevalent thing growing up. That's what I grew up around, and so that's how it was definitely easy to get into that lifestyle growing up. I say this a lot, and it's something that makes sense with a lot of people that grew up in this area. Somerville, Charlestown, Cambridge, South Boston, Dorchester, all of us that ended up in the same places. I grew up misinformed by the misinformed. You know, we grew up looking up to the wrong people. You know, we had strong values. Don't tell on your friends. You know, have honor, have all these values that we still try to have today and raise our kids with, but use them in the wrong way. And definitely growing up, you know, sports. I played sports, and that took up a lot of my youth. But you know, getting into trouble and, you know, being a troublemaker and shit in school, like that was always an issue, and that's why you know, veering off into crime and picking up little stupid cases as a juvenile, like that started happening. Yeah. You know, very easy. So it wasn't long until I ended up, you know, going to DYS and shit like that, and sports. You know, I spending less time in sports and going to school and more time doing other things.
So, I mean, Charlestown's known for bank robberies and armored cars. Is that what it is too? So they made the movie The Town. Was that something like very prevalent growing up, or something like you heard stories about? And was that something that you attribute to, like, drugs in the neighborhood,
As
or like,
as
I
a
know
kid,
it's part of it,
as
but
a
like,
kid,
what's your
like
opinion?
it's something because Charlestown's so small. So, like I remember as a kid, like anytime there was a big robbery anywhere, there would be helicopters over Charlestown. Like I remember being at Charlestown High, and I remember there was I forget what robbery it was, but it was a big armored car. Armored car got robbed somewhere, and we were on the bleachers drinking or smoking weed, and there was a helicopter over, on top, over above us, and it was just a commonplace thing. It was just something we were used to, but also drugs were a thing, that everybody, kind of fucked around with.
Right.
It was something that everybody had a thing with, and if you were like a lot of people, there was some people that could, drink on the weekends, do a couple lines on the weekends and not be a problem, and they'd end up being a firefighter or getting some civil service job or a longshoreman. But a lot of us had, generational addiction in our homes. We grew up watching it, seeing it, and for some reason, addiction is a big part. It just it plays a big role in our town, and that's why we've lost a whole generation of people.
It's almost
Men and women.
part of the culture in an unfortunate way too, and especially like angel dust was one thing that I always heard about being in Charlestown and kind of prevalent there, and not so much a lot of other places. So was that something like when did that become like a thing in Charlestown, or was that something as far as you
when
can
I was
remember?
growing up, it was always a thing. I remember as a kid, just always the older kids smoking dust, leaving. The stamp bags would always be everywhere. I grew up in Mishawam, and that's where they would always be smoking dust in the hallways, and there would be stamp bags everywhere. And sometimes, like, it would be so good, like, they couldn't smoke a whole joint.
Yeah.
And so there would be, like, half joints, roaches of dust everywhere. Like, and I remember when we started smoking dust when we were teenagers, like, you could catch, I remember the Lethal Weapon. That was a certain dust that was very strong.
Oh, okay.
And, like, two people couldn't finish a joint. So you could catch the older kids, taking a couple hits of some Lethal Weapon and then just dropping it. And then you could just snatch it up, take a couple hits, and then you'd end up moonwalking around Charlestown.
So it's not like you say you smoke it. It's not like something you smoke in the typical sense, like weed, or you do smoke it like weed,
it's just
but
like
it's like
smoking weed.
But isn't it like a sub? Like
It's
isn't
on
it like
mint
tea
leaves.
leaves?
It's on mint leaves. They
Okay, talk
put it
about
on
that.
mint leaves.
Mint leaves. Okay. And then they submerge it and kind of gives it in.
Yeah, it's just
the
wet.
chemical?
It's wet. When you roll it, it kind of seeps through. But when you smoke it, you wouldn't know you were smoking the taste, obviously. But if you seen it as a joint, you wouldn't really know it wasn't weed until you smoked it.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
know what
so
I mean?
what about like the H? Was that something that became like more prevalent after like the opioid epidemic and the introduction of like OCs?
That
and the
started around the
hydrocodone?
same time. No, it started before it kinda, because I remember kids down the projects. The project kids kind of started with the heroin before anybody else in like the mid-90s. And it seems like it started right around the time when all like the kingpins in Charlestown got arrested, when John Houlihan and Michael Fitz and them guys got arrested. So it seems like them guys kind of kept it out. Nobody brought heroin in Charlestown while them guys were around. And the same thing in Salty. Like there was no heroin in Salty when Whitey was around. And that all happened around the same time. When Whitey went on the run was kind of around the same time that them guys got arrested, around 95, 96.
So you had mentioned Mishawam, right? Now, talk about that. Is that like a project in Charlestown, or is that an area?
It's a development. It's a housing development. It's
Okay.
not a brick project, but it's a housing development.
Okay. So
On Main Street.
how many of those housing developments or projects are in Charlestown? And talk about like the differences between typical projects, right? Because these are like almost exclusively white projects at one point, which is I seem to be something that's pretty rare, right?
They were all white growing up until, I don't know, even recently. Now there's mixed races in there. But yeah, Mishawam was down on Main Street. Okay. We had the bricks down on Bunker Hill Street, which they're actually the biggest. They're tearing them down now, but those are the biggest projects in Boston, unit-wise and size-wise. The Bunker Hill projects were actually the biggest projects in Boston. And then there's Newtown, which those are another housing development on Medford Street, which was all white too, mostly, until like, I don't know, the late 90s. There was a couple Spanish moved in, but still mostly white. Okay. But that's where you had like the project kids and the Newtown kids and then the Main Street kids, which was really only like after a while, once they reintegrated the projects, it really became all the whites moved out by like the late 90s. And then it was just really Newtown and Main Street.
Okay. So South Boston, at least at that time period, was similar to Charlestown as in the point where they had like white projects, Irish. So some similarities, but talk about what are some of the differences that you would say being from Charlestown? I'm sure doing a lot of time with Southie guys and stuff like that.
But
what are some of the differences?
It seems like they still had white families that stayed in the projects. Like I know white families, like people that their families still lived in the projects in Old Colony. Like they still hung on a little longer when it was Ray Flynn that integrated the projects, whatever plan that was, whatever it was called, I don't know. But he's the one that did it. Because there was like a strong fight with people because I remember when it happened, when they started moving them in the projects, because people like weren't happy. You know, and that's the way times were then. That was like 94, 95, because people they were doing the same thing in South Boston as they were in Charlestown. People were burning crosses, lighting cars on fire, you know, stuff of that nature. But it seems like once they started moving other races in the projects, and it's like, it seems like they just appeared there. Right. Like there were no moving trucks, there was no, like they were just there. Yeah. Which was just weird. But in South Boston, no, like I said, in Charlestown, like people just left. Okay. You know what I mean? They were gone. So, but in South Boston, there was just families that just stayed. I know for a fact they stayed, and they're still there today. So that's kind of the differences. Okay.
So even with myself being from Cambridge too, we experience, you know, gentrification, and sometimes I'll go through the old neighborhood and I'll feel like an outsider, right? Yeah. It's like, when did you start to feel maybe as an outsider, or that you were becoming maybe the minority?
I know exactly. That's. I feel the same way. I feel like a stranger, right, in my neighborhood, because I remember all the times I would get out, like I couldn't wait, like to go back to just see. And that was a bad thing, because that was kind of an addiction itself, going back there. And I would always see the same people and have that same feeling. But when I got out on my last day sentence in 2017, I didn't go back to live there, but my family was still there. But when I went back there, it just didn't feel the same. Everything was so different. I really everywhere I looked was just yuppies, was just people I didn't know. I would still see a couple people here and there, but all young kids like that I knew I probably might know their parents, right, but I felt like a stranger, and I still do to this day. My mother still lives there. I go there frequently, and I feel like a stranger. Absolutely. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. So with this, with the podcast you started, Hard Time, right? So that's
Hard time, real talk.
Obviously, you did some prison time. So you talked about you started getting locked up in juvenile. I guess run the audience through kind of a brief history of your incarceration experience. How long you were locked up for, like places you were at. Maybe talk a little bit about what DDU is and.
Okay. First time started getting locked up was in DYS, but I did like a nice little stretch because I caught a big case when I was a juvenile. But I was all through that system before they had the new Harvard Street. That was the old Morton Street buildings they had, which was right across the street. It was actually on Harvard Street. Why it had a Morton Street address, I don't know, but they had Metro Gym, Challenge. Them were pretty good, cool places where, like, I met a lot of people that I ended up being tight with for a long time. Sully, I was with Sully. That's where we met, and we've been tight ever since because we were the only two white kids. Rosendale, that was like they called it mini Walpole back in the day. But them places were like as bad as like like a Gladiator school. Yeah. Back then, were as bad as honestly some of the places I ended up at the end. You know what I mean? Like SBCC like softened up at the end. When I first got there, it was a bad place. It definitely wouldn't compare. But then moving on to Salt Bay in the late 90s. And at that time, that's when, the cops were killing dudes and shit. And the atmosphere there was just like very, very serious because like you kind of had to walk on eggshells with them because you really never knew if they hit that button, like, them dudes would come in and you just really never knew what type of shit they were on. And they were on some shit. You know what I mean? Like I would see them come in and just because like you made them fucking have to work or come in and break up a fight, them really like just stop beating the shit out of people when they were supposed to be breaking up a fight. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But the racial tension, like, cause there was white phones, white showers, and shit like that. Like, you had to come out every night of your cell in certain blocks, like laced up. I used to tell Joe they got their podcast Lace Up. I'm like, it should be laced up. Laced up. You should already be laced up. Like I'm always laced up. Do you know what I mean? Ever since, right? It should already be laced up.
Now, why was that? Lace up. Was that mainly because of being such a minority that like being all hands on deck, or was it? You had to because they would force the issue and try to take. You know what I mean? So if you didn't stand they would still try to use it, and you'd have to. No, that's ours. Right. Because that way you would never. It was 180 guys to a block, and we'd have like 20 or 30 solid dudes. Do you know what I mean? Right. Like tough dudes from the neighborhoods, East Boston, Southie, Charlestown, Dorchester, Hyde Park, Rosendale. All dudes that were ready to go. So like, you had to. And like when they went to use the phone, someone would have to step to them and you'd have to be right there fucking ready to go. And most of the time, shit wouldn't happen because everybody would be there. But like I've seen it. And even some, like no one's on the phone. There's not a white guy that needs the phone at that moment.
No, there always is.
There always is. It's not like it's a free phone.
Yeah, there always is. But that's how it was.
And this is, for the people that don't know too, this is not a state prison, right? This is
right.
County, a house of correction, right? Like sentence, right? Or is this a trial? Like
no, this was doing time. This was doing time. Then they ended up, I remember in like 2001, putting in like 6 or 7 phones along the rec deck. Which solved the issue, which they could have did all along, and they never did. Do you know what I mean? I think they liked it, got off on it. Right. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just could have put more phones in. There just wasn't enough phones. It was always 180 people to a block. Too many people, not enough space. They triple bunk cells. They weren't supposed to do it. Wow. Now, the last time I was there was whole blocks that were empty. There was only like, lucky if there was 80 guys on a block, where there used to be 180. And I'm like, I couldn't believe there used to be 180 fucking testosterone-fueled fucking men just ready to fucking kill each other.
Crazy.
Same thing with the shower. Like,
Oh, showers too?
yes. Like, you'd have to fucking come out ready to, like, you'd have to be willing to fight for a shower every night to want to get in that shower. Do you know what I mean? Because it would get to that point where you'd almost have to argue over a shower and be willing to fight over it. And if you weren't, like, you weren't going to get in there.
So what does that
know what I
do
mean?
to like your mentality, and then how to and then getting out from doing like, I don't know, couple years and then have to go to the street, and now you got this kind of gladiator
it's not
school
normal.
mentality.
It's not,
Are you able
obviously,
to shut that switch?
it's not normal because you're not I wasn't the type of person that was fit for society. I definitely wasn't. Like, I literally like sat like at the end of a night after, like, you know, copping, doing things, hurting people to get what I needed, and been like, you know what, like, I really fucking do not belong out here. Like, I am a fucking animal. You know what I mean?
That's crazy.
And knowing that I'm going back and just not knowing for what. You know what I mean?
Not even like an open case at the time. Just
Right.
Kind of your
Right.
mentality.
Yeah, just knowing, like, fuck.
So before you went upstate, or was this after you also had went to Billerica or a couple other counties?
Yeah, I ended
too?
up in Billerica.
All right, so talk about like the differences.
That was crazy. Going from, because I got shipped straight from South Bay to Billerica and seeing.
So it wasn't like you
I
hit the
couldn't
streets, caught a
fucking
case in
believe.
Middlesex,
Yeah,
okay.
I couldn't believe dudes are telling cops to go fuck themselves, and it was the most, like, at that time, like, this is so long later, but going back to, like, from one place to the other, I couldn't believe the difference in the cops. I couldn't believe, like, wow, like, I can relax. Like, I don't have to worry about fucking one of these cops bodying me. You know what I mean? They had brought the feds in kind of towards that time, and it had kind of, like, loosened up, but still, like, you weren't doing none of that shit these kids were doing.
So do you think not?
But I got in a fight the, like, first day I got in Billerica. I got in a fight right in Newman.
right in Newman.
Right in Newman, yeah.
Okay, so like, I mean, was it something? What was it over?
Some dude
Was
bumped into me going back from getting my meal, and I'm like, fucking, excuse me's the word. He was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And I just fucking tuned him. I
right
tuned
to
him
the
up
hole.
bad, yeah.
So do I mean
Chicken a la king, I remember, because
Oh,
it got everywhere.
the food was a big difference? I'm sure.
Yeah.
Too,
Oh yeah,
right?
another
I mean,
thing.
talk
Yeah,
to
that was another thing.
right there, at that time. There's
Oh
good
yeah,
food,
it was
right?
good. It was good. The food was good.
So, and it was what, a little bit more open too, right back in
Everything
the day?
about it, yeah.
It was almost
The
like
fact
a
that
prison. How you
just
could kind of get
yeah,
around.
right,
everywhere at
the
that point.
movement, all that. It was everything about it was different. Yeah.
So do you think not having that daily tension with like COs, do you think that minimized the violence amongst like the inmates in there a little bit, even though I'm sure things went off, or do you think
I don't.
that
You know
really
what?
played
As
a
soon
role?
as I got there, I don't know what it was. It brought out the violence in me. I don't know. Actually, I do know what it was. I can't say that. My girlfriend at the time died, like,
Oh, yeah.
while I was in the hole after that fight. So I got in a fight right when I got there, but then I was in the hole, and then my girlfriend at the time died. And I just was like, that. All I did, honestly, when I was there was fight.
So talk about
got in, like,
what that's
eight
like
or
to
9
lose
fights.
like somebody, a loved one, a girlfriend, a family member. I mean, talk about what that's like on the inside and like how hard it is to deal
It
with.
sucked. Like, there was no. I remember one of my closest friends was up in the hole at the time, kid Jimmy Swales, and he was my cellmate the whole time. Really, I was there, and he was like, you know, I called my sister, and my sister told me, and I think he was out on the tier for rec at the time, and she was like, let me talk to Jimmy, and Jimmy was like, you know, I'm here for you, and I did. He was the only one like I really could talk to about it at the time, and you know, I'll never forget him like being there for me, just in general.
Yeah.
during that bid, and that's why we're as close as we are today. He's my boy, and I'll do anything for him. And he has shown even after that, like someone saying something about me, and he's fought them on the spot. You know, he's just a good friend. But it still really didn't change anything. I just was angry, and just anybody that disrespected me in the slightest way. That's how I don't see like how people go through. Unless you're just like, I don't want to fight, like whatever, I'm gonna try to. But like any type of disrespect, I wanted to fight. You know what I mean? So I looked for it, and I found it. Okay. You know what I mean? It wasn't like,
for problems,
okay, I'm gonna let this slide. Like I really just I remember the next thing that happened. I was down on the first tier A/B side, and this Spanish kid yelled out, someone stole my boxes. And I'm like, no one stole your fucking shitty boxes. He's like, said something else, and I'm like, all right, I'll see you when the doors crack. And that was another. You know what I mean? Like, no one else would have really found a reason to say anything. I'll find a fight out of that. And when the doors crack, we got to fight.
Right.
And that was like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, I was, obviously you do know what I'm saying. So
yeah, no, I get it.
I was just really kind of
like,
just wanted to fight.
Well, I mean, some, like, you know, South Bay Gladiator School, some camps might be a little, quote unquote, softer, but if no matter where you're at, it's fair to say if you're looking for trouble, I'm sure you'll still find it, right?
You're going to find it. And I had a couple fights in South Bay, too. It's easy to find there as well.
No. So how much county time did you have, and then how much time did you end up doing upstate afterwards?
I did like a year. Then I did like 3 years that time with on and afters and shit. And I got shipped out. Finally, Bill Ricker shipped me out. They said enough is enough. And I wrapped up my Bill Ricker sentence in Salt Bay.
They shipped you back to the Bay?
Yes.
Okay.
And I wrapped up out of Salt Bay. I wrapped up like 3 years of county sentence out of Salt Bay. So I had done like 4 years of county time before I went upstate.
Yeah. And how much time did you do upstate altogether? And talk about that. Was it broken up? I know.
Yeah, I did two. I did two state sentences of about 11 years.
Okay. What was the I guess the biggest difference between the first state bid and the second state bid? I mean, granted you get a little bit older. Okay, so talk about that.
That fucking shit.
Started taking over?
Yeah, there was nothing else to do, and I was up to max. But the first state bid, I worked out. I got into shit, but only when it came. I was really just focused on working out. Well, I would drink here and there. I would drink once a week when a batch came off. But my focus was working out and taking care of my body and shit. And which was really what I did all my county time when I wasn't in the hole. And when my second state bid came, and that was around the time fucking Suboxone started coming. And I came in without a habit.
Wow.
I came in without a drug habit, and started day one, did Suboxone, and didn't stop until I got sent to 10 block, and had to kick in 10 block before I went to DDU.
Okay. So talk about what's 10 block compared to DDU for the people who might not know.
At 10 block's the hole in Walpole, which I got sent to because they knew I lugged the whole bit, and they knew I would have, somehow made moves no matter what. So that's why I got shipped out of SBCC's hole immediately. They shipped me and Paul Driscoll out immediately, which he was kind of the same. They knew that he was did the same shit. So they sent us both to 10 block, waiting on DDU tickets. So I waited for 6 months till I got my DDU time. And by the time I got my DDU time, I had only had like 6 months left. So I went to DDU.
You had 6 months left of your
Yes.
prison time, or
My prison time.
Okay.
And I got a year in DDU, but I had sat
Yeah.
for friggin' 9. So I was in SBCC hall already for like 3 months, and then went to 10 block for 6 months, and then did 6 more months in DDU. So, but I had to kick the Suboxone. It was fucking horrible. It really sucked. But yeah, that's the hole in Walpole. So I sat there waiting to go to DDU, which is another segregation, or a nice, it's a whole nother hole that's another prison inside a prison that's in Walpole that they shut down, I believe now.
And did you end up wrapping up
Yeah, I
from
wrapped
DDU?
up from
So talk
DDU.
about like that. I mean, that experience getting out of such
Yeah.
a, so you go from, a couple times before county where it's like Gladiator school, you having all this stuff, but now you come from this crazy, heavy, isolated last year or so.
Yeah, I
and
did
then,
over.
like, what
I
was
did
that
like
transition
15
like?
months in the hole, 16 months or something. I forget how long it was. It was over a year, close to a year and a half in the hole, and it was weird. It was really weird getting out like that. And I had spent my last month and a half, 2 months on full restraint status because I peeled the cage. I got in a fight in DDU. I peeled the cage on somebody. So I couldn't even come out for rec without full restraints on.
Yeah.
I had everything on but the fucking Hannibal Lecter mask.
Damn. That's nuts.
They only do the mask if you spit on them and shit,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
I don't do that shit. So
Yeah,
if I went out to rec, I had to go with full restraints on and all that for like the last 2 months. So going from that to wrapping up, like I remember sitting there the last day, like I can't believe this is happening. Like I feel like they're not even gonna come, and they came, and I remember just like. It was very hard for a long time to be in a setting around people.
A lot of people.
Do you know what I mean? I could be around family and shit, but I got overstimulated very easily.
What if you had to hop on like the MBTA during a crowded time? Was that something that, or did you not have to, or would that have been an issue?
I really didn't have to for a little bit, but I got overstimulated very easily. I had anxiety attacks and
So
PTSD, like night terrors, so fucking bad.
God, yeah.
Like I had night terrors, and it started as soon as I got out. I didn't have them in there.
Wow.
When I got out, I started having these fucking night terrors. All prison dreams, all like prison dreams of like real violent shit, and I still get them.
Yeah.
Not as often, but I still get fucking night terrors. Yeah.
I remember one of the first times, one of the times I got out, but getting on the train too afterwards, and just like coming from an environment like prison, right, where for the most part people are kind of aware of their surroundings, to seeing everybody's head down on a phone, nobody's paying attention.
Yeah.
I'm like, everybody here is absolutely
It's crazy. It's
clueless,
so
man. And
weird.
it was like, did you have any experiences like that, or things that you noticed that have changed a lot, especially getting out?
I mean, obviously, you do notice everybody's, but I still felt like everybody knew. I still felt like everyone knew, like that guy just got out of prison. Because you know how everyone looks up for a second?
Right,
You know what I mean? Like if there's a noise or the door opens, I just still felt like everyone knew. You know what I mean? And I don't never care I don't get embarrassed like ever. Even my wife says it, like it's so crazy how you just never get embarrassed. Like I'll just be in the store now, like with my family, and start bust out dancing and like embarrass my daughter and shit. And she'll be like, "Yeah, stop." You know what I mean?
Right.
But I still like felt like everyone was like noticed me somehow, because I just hadn't been in the presence of people for so long. You know what I mean? It's very weird wrapping up from being in the hole that long.
So
but there's people that do it, and I'm not making it like, there's people that do it from being in DDU much longer than that. So I'm not going to sit here and make it like that's forever. Absolutely. But I can just speak about my only experience. Where the hell's my water?
Oh, I think.
I don't know. Anyways.
Oh, it's right there, bro. There you go.
I can only speak from my own experience, and it was a little weird.
No doubt. So, well, I mean, now that you've been out, you came on my podcast, a couple times, but then you've been kind of.
And that's what set everything off.
Yeah, you've been making the rounds. So let's talk about that. Like what you've been up to, what other podcasts you've been doing, and what you've noticed about, I guess, content creation. I mean, you were doing some content creation yourself before you actually came on the podcast and started doing podcasts. But just talk about your experience with going on podcasts, where you've been, what you've been doing, what you noticed about the, I guess the game, if you want to call it that.
So when you started it, I seen you, and I'm like, oh, all right. And I'm like, I want to tell my story. You know what I mean? Like, I think my story's kind of, if I hit the right points, it's entertaining. Like, people probably gonna want to hear it. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Especially, or not even just want to hear it, but it could help. If I did it, like, there's gotta be people that know me and seen me at my worst. There's gotta be someone out there that could be like, oh my God, fucking, if he did it, I've got to find hope. Because there's been times that I've been so helpless at times, like just so helpless and hopeless, that I just thought there's no way I'm ever going to figure this out. Right. And I seen you, and I was at a good point in my life where I figured out, like, I'm not going to move backwards, I'm moving forwards. And I wanted to come on. So I hit you up, and I came on, and that inspired me to, want to go on others. And ever since then, I'm like, you know what, I gotta do this myself. You know what I mean? And I know enough people, I know enough interesting people to get on here, and I've built enough of a social media following that I have people that have encouraged me, reached out to me personally, so many, and just running into people. In Charlestown, people that I know, people coming up to me left and right. I seen you on the podcast. Like, you should do this. Like, you can do this. Like, not just your story, but not that I'm a great speaker, and I don't think I am, because I know I pause a lot and shit, but I just feel like this is something that it's a calling, the way things fell into place. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely. And it's hitting kind of a roadblock right now, but I will figure it out one way or another, because there are people in my life that I don't think they get it. Like my family, I think they're the only ones in my life that don't get it, because everybody else, friends and followers, do see that this is something that I can do, and that I can definitely do well.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I've been on not just yours, I've been on Maddie's. I've co-hosted it probably about 10 times. He calls me back and wants me on it. We did that
together once too. Yep.
Over and over. I came back on here with Joe, and he brought Devin, and so I brought Mark. Yep. And whatever that was, but that show got a lot of views and got a lot of fucking comments. Absolutely. And I also went on Being Shooters, and I went on Lace Up as well. And what's his name? Your buddy called me as well, asked me to go on.
Nice.
What's his name?
Ronnie Blue Eyes? Yeah. Ronnie. He's got the YouTube Streets. Which is great. They have a national kind of audience too.
Yes. And so I did tell him I'll go on, and he did at at the time, at first when he asked me, he was having some stuff going on,
Yeah.
and then he hit me up again and said, he asked me again, you know, would you like to come on? And I said, yeah. So at some point, we'll get around to doing that. So
Absolutely.
the Bean Shooter episode, we have to reshoot that,
Oh, okay.
but we'll do that. And I think that's it's actually a good idea to reshoot it, because at the time I was promoting with somebody else.
Okay.
So now I can re-promote what I'm doing now.
So, what's been your experience with getting people to support you, or like maybe strangers supporting you compared to people you know? Because I know with me, a lot of times, you know, people that I don't hardly know, and they're like some of the biggest supporters, and then some people I know
It's
forever,
crazy.
they hardly support.
It's so weird, right?
You know, like, what's your take on the support and how it works with the people you know versus people you don't know, or in general?
It's so weird, because we were talking about it. Like, there's some people that you just can't. They're family, and they're people that should be supporting you, and no matter what, you can't get them to share nothing. You can't get them to do nothing. You'll send them 100 things, and they won't reshare. They won't do nothing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then you got strangers you just met on social media who repost, who comment, who like, and they do everything. And it's just like, what is so hard about this?
Yeah.
And you will return the favor. Hey, do you need me to do this? And I do. I return the favor for some of them, the people that ask me to, and I'll collaborate with them. And there was my cousin. I asked him to collaborate. We took a picture together, and I sent him the collaboration friggin' thing, and he would not do it.
Yeah.
Would not do it. And his excuse was, he thought that meant I took his whole social media over. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Right.
Like, you can't be that fucking stupid.
No, it's a great tool.
You can't be that stupid. How could I take your whole social media over?
Yeah. You're gonna
Like,
hack it.
you can't, like, come on.
Yeah.
You know that it's just like one post. Like, you really can't even do that? You can't accept a collaboration fucking invite? Oh my God, man.
Yeah, I don't think I even realized about the collaboration tool on Instagram till like maybe a year in. Then shout out Day Heat was kind of the first one. Yo, invite me to collaborate, and I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
And it's ever since then, it's really probably been instrumental on my growth is
Right.
the collaborations, because like this
All it,
guy
I'm
might
like,
have
all it does
five-
is, and at the
it shows up
time,
on both of
at the
y'all's.
time, I didn't have many followers. I had only had like 1,000 followers.
Right.
So I was trying to grow.
Yeah.
And I just wanted his followers to maybe, and
At least see you. If they want to
fucking
follow you, they
wouldn't
follow
do
you.
it.
If they don't, they don't.
He
have
wouldn't fucking do it.
To. Yeah.
And it's just like, now I am. I have, you know, I'm still growing. I got almost 6,000 followers, but it's growing, and it's been growing, and it grows every fucking day.
Yeah.
With every post, with every thing, and even the podcast, the one friggin' episode I put out, it's pushing up on 1,000 views.
That's good.
Almost 200 comments, and friggin' 100 likes. Do you know what I mean? And I can compare that to other people I know that are doing things in their 20th episode, and it has more than a lot of people that are doing podcasts that I know, that I asked to do a podcast together.
Absolutely.
And they chose to do it with someone else.
Okay.
And here I am on my first episode with more. My analytics are higher than their
Right.
20th episode. So
That's what's up.
looks like they made a wrong choice.
So I want to talk a little bit about the support too, and kind of get maybe your theory. on
But I really would like to take that opportunity to thank I respond to every comment and tell every friggin' supporter how grateful I am, how much I appreciate them, how I can't, without them, I'm nothing. I'm just a person talking to a screen.
Right.
And I try to put into words how much I appreciate them,
Right.
and I honestly can't.
You can't.
Like,
Nope.
it really is so essential for your engagement. And how much I appreciate it, I really honestly can't put into words, but I appreciate you so much. If I could put it into words, I would. But every one of you who engage, honestly, I'm so grateful for you. I am. And I just wanted to use that as some time to show some appreciation to every one of you that do the little things that I ask. And they aren't little. They are huge. Because there's some people that won't do a fucking single thing, and they're related to me.
It means the world. I mean, the support truly means the world, and I wanted to kind of touch on it, kind of give you my theory a little bit on what it might be, and kind of see if you kind of respond to that, especially like maybe people like me and you, been to jail, been to prison, I mean, had some maybe pretty low lows, right? And then, like you said, how some people might see that and maybe never been so low, but then they see someone who's actually been a lot worse than them, it kind of puts it in their face to be like, what's your excuse? And they maybe start to question themselves. I mean, what do you think
I don't know,
the
jealousy,
idea is behind it? Like
jealousy or
maybe?
just not like why can't you like just appreciate that what I'm doing from where I went to here I am? Even my mother and my stepfather don't say, hey, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Never once. I just got in an argument today.
Wow.
Asking her for a laptop for my thing, saying, listen, if I get a laptop, I won't really need to ask for so much money in this GoFundMe that I really don't want to do.
Right.
I don't want to have to do that, but I don't want to give up on this friggin' podcast. So trust me, I don't want to do that. Yeah. That's very humbling for me to have to do that. Yeah. But I asked my mother, and she says, no, it's your nephew's. My nephew's in fucking South Bay with a gun case and an armed robbery. Jeez. He's going to prison.
So you're not even asking for the money, you're asking just to use
She still treats him like a baby. Yeah. And I'm like, do you see? You're the other one person who stuck by me and knows where I've gone and where I am now. And I don't think you see how passionate I am and how, like, that I've been sober 5 years and, like, what I'm asking for. I just want to use it until I get my own, which will be very fast. Yeah. I've already raised some money, and like I'm not like are you serious? Like the kid don't need it. Yeah. You're treating him like a baby, and all I'm asking is if I can ask him to use it, and he'll say yes. He calls once a week. When he calls, can I ask him? He will say yes, and she's telling me no. Wow. And I'm like, this is crazy. Like, and then that's what got me into the. Not once have you said you're fucking proud of me. Yeah. Or my stepfather, who's been in my life 40 years. Well, not 40 years, but 35 years. Sorry.
Damn. I mean, like, shout out to my mom. My mom, she tells everybody about it, all this. She won't be able to pull it up. If she was, like, on the phone, like, she's still like, what's it called? Like, but whatever.
My mother's friends.
But she reps
my
it,
mother's
though, at least.
friends want all my podcasts. Yeah. Has watched our first podcast. Yeah. And ever since that, wants them all. Hey, if you're on a podcast, can you send it to me? Yeah. She watches them all. My mother has never seen one. Yeah. My mother's never watched one. Yeah. And she's the greatest mother. I'm not taking anything from her, but I don't understand it. I don't. It's like she's never like given anything to this passion I have of wanting to do this, which it's something that I do pretty well. Mm-hmm. I think. And I know that if everything works out, these guests that I have and the rapport that I have with them, that it's gonna go. Yeah. I know it. I know it is. Absolutely. It's not even a question of like if. Yeah. I know it is. Especially with the analytics from episode 1. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. I mean, it's easy to get discouraged, but you know, it happens.
I did get discouraged today. I'm not gonna lie. Like
I guess talk about what's keeping you motivated, or what do you tell yourself like to keep going?
It's because so many people have encouraged me. Mm-hmm. So many. I can't even count how many people have DM'd me and said, "I've seen this podcast or I've seen that podcast. Like, you should do this yourself," or I've seen the stories, or I've seen whatever I've seen on social media of you, and do this. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And me and my wife too. My wife is my biggest supporter, and she believes in me. And my family. My daughter, she's, you know, the same thing. She gets into it, and you know, good luck and all that. And it's just the people that really buy me. They support me.
Oh shit, sorry. I wanted to pull this. Damn. Hopefully, don't play it too long, because with the I'm gonna have to cut it out. With the audio, the copyright and stuff like that.
That's what keeps me.
So
that's what keeps me going, and the fact that I have something. I have something, and I'm not just gonna give up. Like, I'm not somebody that gives up on.
Yeah, so I would say too, you know, keep the focus on that, on the support, on the people who do support you.
Yeah,
Do it
and
for
my
them,
followers.
and try not to...
I have a bunch of followers that engage in that, aren't giving up. You know what I mean? So how can I just give up on all that?
Absolutely. No, you got to keep,
you know
keep that in the front. Keep it in the front of your mind. You know what I mean? It's easy to get caught on the negative and dwell over it and kind of get upset, especially when it's people you love and you would think would want to support you. You know what I mean? But you know, focus on the ones that are supporting. I would say, bro. You know what I mean?
Strangers.
For sure. But you've been like building the following on Instagram. It's been going up. I've been seeing it. You got a lot of, you know, different types of content and stuff too. But there was been a couple incidents I saw that you kind of got into. You got some recognition from a pretty notable name in Boston. Benzino. I guess
we almost got him. That almost turned.
So yeah,
but I didn't
want
to keep feeding into him. Like he is a fragile person. He's a fragile fucking dude. And we had a lot of conversations on the side. We talked. And he said he was going to come on, but the more time passed, I knew he wasn't going to. And we had set everything up. We had a fucking room in the Encore. I had cameras. I got Jake to fucking let us use his cameras. I had everything set up. But then I knew to continue to engage with him was going to turn into something that I could possibly go to prison for.
So talk about kind of, I guess.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I get it,
Because
bro.
he gets stupid with his mouth. And I would have had to say, listen, like, what are you saying? Are you going to fucking show up or not? Because I had already told him, I made it very simple. If you're the one who got the problem at first, what started the whole thing, because he came at me.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Kind of give the context behind the comment, right?
He came at me when they did the content on him. I'm not doing content on him. He's not have any importance to me. Joe and Devin did the content on him. I just made a comment. And for some reason, he came at me. He has this fixation on white people talking about him. And he even said it to me. And I'm like, why do you care? Why do you give a fuck what people you don't know are saying to you? If you're so fucking important, Mr. Ray Benzino, why do you care, bro? Why do you care? And I was really trying to talk to him like a fucking...
Trying to get the...
Trying to talk to him as an individual. Why do you care? And so what I did was I reposted it because when I came at him and really put it to him, he deleted the shit. But I had already screenshotted it.
Right. Oh, yeah, you deleted the comment.
So I screenshotted the shit and posted it, and I got some support. I got mad support. I had 120 comments of people coming at him. No, actually 130 something, and it had over 6 point something views in less than 24 hours.
That's crazy.
And that's when he fucking threw in the towel, and he was like, "Yo, John, man, fucking," and I knew it was gonna happen. I played it like a game of chess, and that was the plan all along. I'm like, dude, do you see this? Like, do you really think like I'm just some punk white dude that, like, I'll tell you where I'll be at. I'll be at the Squire on the 28th. If that's when you're coming, if you really want to do that. And he's like, man, it ain't that serious, bro. It wasn't that. And I'm like, all right. So, and he's like, but you know, and then it turned into him wanting to come on. He's the one who asked to come on the fucking podcast.
Right.
And And then it was like, all right. He's like, well, there's got to be lights, and there's got to, he made all these fucking crazy demands that I'm like, all right, I'll do it, because it would have fucking been crazy if it happened. But then he, after like a day or two, he stopped responding. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, why would you do all that? And then I'm like, you know what? I'll just leave it. I'm not even going to.
Yeah. I hear you.
Why even? What's the point? Then it's going to turn into me and him fucking getting into it again, and then I'm going to have to fucking hit him with something.
Yeah, I saw him on Big Dookie Chain podcast, another, you know, some local guys and stuff too. They do a podcast, and, you know, they got him on, and he was screaming at the white dude, pretty much saying because he was white, he really can't even speak on hip hop and this and that.
Yeah,
and
he's racist.
This whole obsession with like
He's racist.
The race. I don't get it. But,
He's like, can you take that down? I goes, listen, I'll take it. I'm not deleting it. I will archive it. But if you don't come on the podcast, that shit's going back up.
Okay, so
And that shit went back up.
Okay, so that's where it's at right now.
That post is back up there.
So pretty much, is the offer still on the table if he wanted to come do a podcast with you, or
Yeah,
at this
of course
point has
it
that
is.
ship sailed? Okay.
Of course it is. He can come on if he wants. That shit, and I told him, like, that shit's gonna benefit me.
Absolutely.
I know that. I ain't stupid. I ain't acting like you don't know that. I ain't gonna sit here and play like, oh, well, I'm gonna act like an idiot here and act like. No, I know what it is. I know that I can't do nothing for you. You can do something for me. You know what I mean?
Right.
People don't know who I am, not yet.
Right.
But people know who you are. That's why I'm trying to get you on the fucking podcast.
Right. And I would think someone, you know, as big as he is and as much as he's done outside of the city, I feel like at this point in his career, I mean, being as, you know, not to call him an old man, you know what I mean, but to being a little older, you would figure now is the type, it's almost like the AA part, right? The 12th step is what? To help the next person, right? To help the next addict. You did what you had to do. I feel like it should be the people who are getting big from here.
It really hurt his soul having that post.
Yeah.
When that post was live, and every fucking comment, because I tagged him. So every fucking comment he was getting. And all them white people saying shit about him. And
So,
I'm like,
I mean-
what do you care? What difference does it make if if a mulatto person saying something? Does that make a difference if they're half white? And if what the fuck are you like totally cooked? Like it really makes a difference. What matters? Aren't you like partially white or something?
I mean,
Isn't there somewhere in your fucking mutt, but you're a mutt, dude? Like.
Right. Yeah, it's got, you know. I mean,
Whatever.
I just want to know, like,
yeah. I just also wanted to. That clears the air
wanted-
with the whole Benzino thing. But that was funny. That was wreck.
And I just want to kind of transition that into, you know, it's relatable, but not really specifically talking about that. We can move on. But just the whole idea of going viral, and why does it have to be something that's so confrontational? I feel like right now, I feel like everything that's going viral is either race or politics, and it's the very
it's
divisive
crazy.
stuff. I
It's
had
crazy.
a
There's so much
young lady
division.
on here who was half black and half white, and she was getting racist stuff. I'm both sides. White people being racist to her, black people. The white people were calling her she's not white, she's black. Black dudes saying you're not black, you're white. No, it was a whole thing, and it went kind of a little viral, and it wasn't my intent. But it's like, why is the racial stuff?
It's so much. And I get involved in it,
confrontation.
but only my thing is the media. My beef's with the media and what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're the one people are falling for it, but unwillingly. There's people willingly going with it, but there's people unwillingly going for it, and the media is what they're doing, right? And it's just not right. And I don't understand why it's not one of Trump's main things to go after. I know there's a lot of things going on, but he is full aware, like, you can lay some sanctions. If they're throwing misinformation out there, and they are, right? Because I've seen it, and they've let the Democratic lawmakers and politicians just flat out lie about what's it called?
I think he just settled with
inflation,
ABC.
Inflation,
$16 million.
right? And then that doesn't even get any media attention. The fact that
they fact checked him about lies, and then they didn't fact check Harris.
Well, so I think what it was that they edited her response to make her seem a little bit more like.
But they also what's it called? Whistleblower came forward. They gave her all the questions in advance.
Exactly.
She was made aware of the whole debate.
It wasn't a
ahead
hardball
of time.
interview. Yeah.
It was a debate.
Yeah.
So they gave her the lady that did the debate went to college with Kamala Harris. Her and then it was David Muir, that liberal fuck.
All buddy.
But that was crazy. Yeah. The whole thing, he got fact checked like 8 times.
Right.
And she didn't get fact checked once. It was totally unfair. I don't even know why he did it.
Yeah, he never really turns down debates. He's not scared.
Then none of that shit gets made public. The fact that the one thing they fact checked him on about migrant crime, and then they come out with the report that they were actually wrong. He shouldn't have got fact checked. Migrant crime is on the way up.
Well, the thing with that is they do it on purpose, but the toothpaste is already out of the tube, right? Every 2 million people saw this lie, but when you redact it in only a paragraph at the end of the newspaper to be old school, but and 2 weeks later, there's a whole news cycle. No one even cares. Yeah, it doesn't.
So it makes it look like
and they know that going forward.
He's a liar. Oh, he's just a liar. And there's people that believe everything that mainstream media says, and that's why.
Yeah.
Because the way that they manipulate it,
they
manipulate it. It's not fair. It's just not fucking fair. The shit that he puts up with, that's a guy that got some thick fucking skin.
So speaking of lies in the media, right? That's mainstream media. Let's talk a little bit about the independent media that we have, like YouTube and stuff, and certain people who are portraying maybe certain lifestyles that they didn't live, or pretending to be people, or they're not, under the guise of this is me telling my real story. You're not saying it's a work of fiction. I have a little bit of a clip right here we could get to. So let's just get to this real quick. I'm interested in what we got going on here. Because I've been seeing
this is
posting
comedy gold. I can't believe Tippett's got him on the line. Anyone could read that in a book. Fucking Tibbetts. Because you do not. You don't know Billy Banowski. Sorry, now I'm saying it like him. You're going to tell people that they don't know somebody that you don't know.
Right.
These two can make comedy gold together.
So, I feel like part of it might be the Boston accent, right? Bonnup maybe trying to say it with the accent. But let's talk a little bit about that guy anyway. Who is that guy, right? Sean? What's like the story behind this dude, and why are you posting this?
This dude. Oh, I didn't post that.
Oh, you didn't repost?
Oh, no, I'm tagged on it.
Oh, you tagged me.
I got tagged on it. He tags me on it because
that's why I saw it on your thing. All right.
Yeah. He's a follower and a good supporter of mine.
Okay.
So, yeah, just because we just both can't stand that, this idiot, really got away with this for a while, and Sean Scott Hicks claims he was a member of the Winter Hill gang, and he's a mob enforcer, and oh my God, it's just the most ridiculous thing in the world. He got a book. He friggin' literally, Blackstone Publishing, published an autobiography of his that is all fiction, 100% fiction. None of it ever happened. He's from, where's he from? He's from somewhere in Norfolk County. I know my ex-girlfriend's brother lives there. Holbrook. He's from Holbrook. They ask him, he did the whole round of these podcasts. They ask him where he's from. He says, Somerville, Quincy, Southie, Boston. Doesn't have a Boston accent at all. There's just no, but there's a bunch of people that believe him.
Right.
That believed him because he wasn't ever exposed until, because I didn't see none of this until he got exposed, until Bean Shooter exposed him.
Yeah.
And then Ann Bick, who has a huge fucking following, I don't know fucking how.
Yeah.
But then he had him on, even though Bean Shooter told him it's all a lie, and he made it like, he questioned him as if he was a legit mob crime. He was ran around with Whitey Bulger, which the guy's only 52 years old.
The math
don't math. It doesn't even add up. Which means he would have been a teenager when Whitey took off, and he would have been in diapers when the Winter Hill gang, Winter Hill crew, stopped being a thing in the early '80s. And now he's sitting here telling Billy Tibbetts he don't know Billy Benoski, and he's not even saying the dude's fucking name right. And Billy Benoski died 15 years ago. There's another thing with them where they're talking about Benoski again, and he's still talking like he's alive. Talking about him in the present. So he doesn't even know he's dead. He's been dead over 10 years, between 10 and 15 years. But he was in prison 30 years prior to that, since the early 80s, I think, maybe even the late 70s. So I don't know. I would like to know how he's claiming he knows him.
Right. Because
it's another lie, obviously, but you're telling another guy that you don't know somebody that he don't know.
Right.
He's sick. You got to see his TikTok shit where he's claiming.
He's a weirdo.
I
think he was even saying he was involved with the Paul Pierce thing. And
oh my
Benzino
God!
Thing
Yeah.
Totally
so he's a white rapper named Ghost. that I was on the tier with him with the real Anthony Ragland, Roscoe.
Oh man.
And that's the whole thing we got. That's the whole thing that we got involved with. Thing about
Ray Benzino.
Benzino,
No.
Because I know him well. He was there when I tore the fucking fence. So he's the one that got everybody fucking yelling my name during the fight. It was John, go fucking.
This is the guy who was really involved with the Paul Pierce.
He's the one who fucking did it and got a life bid for the probation violation for habitual. He got forever. Wow. That whole situation gave him forever because of who he was.
Right.
And because of that whole incident. But to claim he was with them guys, but that's what I'm telling Benzino. And I was also with Trevor Watson. And when he found out I was from Charlestown, because he just got out of the feds with a bunch of townies, and I had a good rapport with him. But that was 20 years ago. I'm like, I can't say that Trevor's going to remember me. I can't sit here and say Big Trev's going to remember me. But Roscoe will. Because he's not even go by Roscoe anymore. His name's Hoodball.